Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News for this Wednesday, August 22. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Many government offices in Trinidad remain closed as authorities work to determine the extent of damage from yesterday's earthquake. There have been cracks in several buildings and roads after the earthquake. Broadcast journalist at CCN TV6 in Trinidad, Nika Parsan-Lal, provided an update.
Just around 9:30, we experienced our first aftershock since yesterday's earthquake. We've heard that quite a lot of government offices have not had extensive damage, but many of them are closed today to either assess the damage done to them by the earthquake or to have cleanup efforts commenced as a result of damage that would have been surveyed since yesterday. We also have a few schools that decided to stay away today just because they would have been in vulnerable areas. We have a mud volcano in the southern side of Trinidad, which saw some slight activity that we are still trying to survey at this time, but we are told that activity could, turn into something a little bit more. We're not entirely sure just yet, but we are paying attention to those things.
And Trinidad this morning reported an aftershock with a magnitude of 5.9. According to the UWI Seismic Research Center, the aftershock was felt at approximately 9:27.
Despite the fact that it's normal to have aftershocks, and a lot of them people wouldn't feel, and so we've been recording in our instruments since the event yesterday several aftershocks, but the size of them have been smaller than people can feel. But the one this morning at 9:27 was strong enough. So I believe people were quite concerned and are still quite concerned about what it means.
Head of the Seismic Research Center, Professor Richard Robertson, says the region should now be looking at its building policies.
At a regional level, we need to take seismic hazard, earthquake hazard more seriously, such that we put policies and plans in place, because building resilience to these events require long-term investment in safer building practices, and safer planning of our communities, such that when the shaking starts, the structures that we build can stand up. That requires long-term investment and plans. I think as a region, we need to put that more on the front burner.
In other news, opposition spokesman on education Ronald Thwaites says all measures must be used to ensure that teachers, parents and students are ready for the primary exit profile PEP. It replaces the Grade 6 Achievement Test GSAT. The new president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Dr. Garth Anderson, yesterday called for PEP to be put on hold. Dr. Anderson added that teachers are frustrated and anxious and they do not feel prepared to deliver the new curriculum. Mr. Thwaites said teachers and students should have been adequately prepared for the new exam to prevent concerns near the start of the academic year.
The primary exit test is a good progression from the GSAT. The difficulty is that it has not been communicated properly, and the proper preparations made among all the teachers and students. Let us use every measure, virtual, by workshops, by courses, to bring them up to speed as quickly as possible.
The parliamentary opposition is calling for the government to find an alternative for vendors who have been forced to vacate the Constant Spring Market in St. Andrew. Speaking at a divisional conference in Clarendon last night, opposition spokesperson on local government, Dr. Angela Brownberg, describes the government's directive to the vendors as disrespectful.
The KCSE comes and they collect monies from you for market fees. The KCSE is responsible for finding vending areas in Kingston. The market is theirs. They have been collecting from these people. The persons have been abiding by every law in the book. You come and say you're going to lick down the market and you're not talking nothing more to them?
Dr. Angela Brownberg said the local government ministry is ultimately responsible.
There are businesses that are in the same spot like them along the road that the government has decided is too expensive for them to make those businesses move. But they're moving the market and them don't give two hoots about what happens to the vendors.
The vendors were given notice to leave the Constant Spring Market by the end of September to facilitate the widening of the Constant Spring Road. On Monday, they staged a protest to show their discontent. And continuing an earlier story about the primary exit profile, the Ministry of Education is standing firm by its decision to replace GSAT with PEP. We have more in this report.
It's not an option. That's the declaration made by Education Minister Ruel Reid about halting the implementation of the Primary Exit Profile PEP. The Grade 6 Achievement Test GSAT is to be replaced by PEP in September. However, new president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Dr. Garth Anderson, had said teachers and students are not yet ready. And that is why he believes the starting date for PEP should be pushed back. But the education minister insists that delaying PEP is out of the question.
Well, where we are now, we are way down the wicket with preparation for PEP. So, very late. As I said, that constructively, the JTA had a lot of opportunity to have dialogue with us prior to now, and we don't think that that is practical right now, because remember that the National Standards Curriculum, for which PEP is being tested on, has been introduced sometime now, and this is not something that we're imposing in the system just this year. We have been preparing the system for this transition for some time.
Dr. Anderson said teachers have reported that they are not fully prepared to deliver the new curriculum. But Mr. Reid said that's not the feedback the Education Ministry has been receiving. He adds that the JTA had not raised these concerns before.
The JTA, had they had this as a major concern, you would have heard so publicly. So let us understand it for whatever it's worth, right? My office has always been open, and in the same way, we had a wage negotiation, and I spent a lot of hours, breakfast meetings, late nights to have the matters resolved. Whatever the issues of concern, JTA will tell you.
In the meantime, the education minister said that he'll be writing to the new JTA president, inviting him to further discussions on PEP. He also revealed that a committee has been set up to review the test items for PEP. This, he believes, will ensure that the tests are fair, manageable, and are aligned to the new curriculum. Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
A senior raft captain and a child are feared to have drowned in the Martha Brae River in Falmouth, Trelawney, Tuesday afternoon. Their identities have not yet been released. Edgar Harrison, another raft captain, tells what he heard.
Coming down the river, was coming down with 3 kids. Either one fell off, he tried to assist the child, and then he did not come back from the river, neither do the child. So I don't know what transfer from there. To hear of his death now is really hard. And he's a friend, he's a brother we lose. And in recent time we have lost about 3 captains. But Chagabaga is very tragic, for nobody expect you'd go the way he went,
And time now for a look at what's coming up in this evening's health report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we look at ear infection.
Not every child has this experience. We see it in some children who we don't see a predisposing factor even. But it's just that children have to be properly cleaned, or hygienic practices has to be taken care of for each child. And we suggest that the adults clean the ear rather than allowing the child to put stuff in the ear.
That's the Health Report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. You can reduce your child's risk by protecting him or her from secondhand smoke. Breastfeed for at least 6 months, limit the use of pacifiers, and bottle feed your baby in an upright position.
And in sports, the management of local racing's promoting company has sought to quash fears that the development plans outlined at the outset of their takeover have fallen off track.
The top brass of Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment Limited met with racehorse trainers at Caymanas Park on Tuesday after accepting an invitation from the United Racehorse Trainers Association to address lingering issues. President of the United Racehorse Trainers Association, Ryan Darby, outlined the major concerns of his members, while noting that they were expecting the upgrading exercise to have been moving with more alacrity.
What the trainers and the stakeholders and owners, when I meet with some of them, keep saying that the government and Supreme Ventures signed contracts on timeline and budgetary thing that should be done. And if you look at the place, it is not reflecting it. I'm not saying that the Supreme Ventures is not spending any money, but it's not reflecting it and at the magnitude of the development that should have been done. On the track itself, we have the water problem, the dust problem, the maintenance problem. Almost every day, Mr. Bernard asked a question, who have stable repair, and every single trainer and went up.
General Manager for Racetrack Operations, Anthony Shukir, told the TVJ Sports that the concerns of the trainers are being addressed.
What we did, we went through all the stables and did an assessment of all the stable areas. And we have some that are more urgent than others. And we have put into the budget for next year a substantial amount to deal with the stables. So we're hoping that will correct the problem. We do minor repairs as we go along.
Meanwhile, Andrew Azar, former deputy chairman of the board of the previous promoting company, Caymanas Limited, had a recommendation for the present promoters.
When SVREL acquired the lease for the racetrack, they made certain promises. Fine dining, change the infrastructure, put in slot machines, put in gaming rooms, fix the trainer's room where the grooms, nothing has been done. When I come out here today now, there's a sense of disgust, disbelief, and just, it's approaching almost a betrayal of trust. And I don't want to say it has reached there yet, but it's fast approaching. And I would urge Supreme Ventures to come out here, meet with the people. Do not sit at the offices on Knutsford Boulevard and look at the bottom line, the profit.
Executive Chairman of Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment Limited, Michael Bernard, addressed the issue of the contents contained in the original plan of development.
Well, the plan entails development of the racetrack. It entails a number of initiatives that are intended to improve racing in Jamaica and to improve the lot of the stakeholders and obviously of the promoting company. And those are plans that are being implemented, maybe a little slower than anticipated, and for a number of different reasons that is the case, but we are well on our way towards implementing what we have primarily in the plan.
A meeting is also expected to be held in due course between members of the United Racehorse Trainers Association, Director of Racing Chris Armand, and General Manager for Racetrack Operations Anthony Shukir.
Thank you, Spencer. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the Primetime News package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.